right, so let's now talk about student loan forgiveness, but specifically how Pearl saved a mom who had her own loans $273,000
Right.
because there is some sorcery and it's a little complicated, but this is the type of skill set that you have developed, and of course, I think it pertains to probably tens of thousands of people, at least across the country, that might be, uh, tuning in to us at one point or another. So walk us through it. Do your best to give the details that are important,
Okay.
but understand that no one has your expertise.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first, let me just give a little bird's eye explanation of loan forgiveness that exists and is available. There are two main categories of loan forgiveness. There is loan forgiveness under an income-based repayment plan, where after, depending on the specific income-based repayment plan that's selected, either 10, 15, 20, or 25 years from the time that you are enrolled in such income-based repayment plan, and you are not a public servant, after your particular repayment time period has elapsed and you've made all the required payments at your income-based repayment plan, after X amount of years, depending on the plan, the rest of that loan at that time is forgiven. However, there is a tax bomb in that year that you seek and get forgiveness on the forgiven amount. I am not spending the rest of today. I will just touch on that type of loan forgiveness briefly and just explain what's been happening. I think it's relevant and important in case that is somebody like, wait, I'm in one of those income-based repayment plans. What's happening? Or I want to join one of those income-based repayment plans. What's going on? Because when I go online, I can't find them. I can't see a place to actually enroll in an income-based repayment plan since COVID began, actually. And now that has changed as of December 17th. So again, I'm just going to round out that discussion on non-public service loan forgiveness and let you know. So now they've reopened some of those income-based repayment plans because everyone was formally putting their repayment plans into the SAVE plan, which has been determined and declared unconstitutional. And so it left all those borrowers already enrolled in repayment plans not in a viable repayment plan. So as such, the Department of Education just last week, 2 weeks ago, reopened the two of the repayment plans that are viable under income-based repayment plans, specifically the PAYE, P-A-Y-E plan, and the ICR, income contingent, yes, repayment plan. Exactly how that's going to be worked out and how it's actually going to be managed and how it's going to actually work remains to be seen, because again, the new administration has not taken over yet, and there is a lot that the new department can eliminate, but then there are some things that can't be touched. So just again, I'm getting to the public service repayment. All right, so that's income-based repayment plan, non-public servants. The other main topic of loan forgiveness is called public service loan forgiveness. Here are those requirements, and this is where my new success story comes from. The mother who I'm going to tell you what the requirements are, and then I'm going to tell you what we had to do in order to get $273,000 of this mom's parent loans for her 5 children. Okay, so the amalgamation of all the loans amassed $273,000.
And I just want to say, if you're just joining us, what's interesting about this very arcane, complicated process is, if you have loans and you're following or you're trying to follow news about student loan forgiveness, you might just assume that all that only pertains to student loans.
Right.
But in this case, you're talking about a parent who took loans, and we see a lot of parents who take six figures worth of loans,
Right.
and you may feel like that is not something that you can do anything about under these new plans. But this case study and other of your clients
Yeah.
in our loan forgiveness consulting business,
Yep.
it can be helped.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Okay. So just to give you the basics, the public service, in order to qualify for public service loan forgiveness, you need to be, number one, employed by an eligible public service employer. How was that figured out? You would go on to the student loan site, and there's actually a public service loan forgiveness tool right in the site that enables you to look up your employer's status. You would just need the EIN of your corporation that you work for, the business you work for, and plug it in. It's either going to say eligible or ineligible. Okay.
Is that accurate in your experience?
It is accurate, except it's not fully inclusive. So if you know,
So not accurate.
well, it's not completely accurate.
Okay.
If here's the problem, if there has never been an employee, because you have this particular mother, she had three different, and I'm going to explain her facts in a second, but she had three different jobs as a public service employee. One of her employment, government employment situations had been in the system, and it just popped up eligible when we put in that EIN number. However, another small government entity that she had worked for during that time wasn't. It was surely a government agency, and it surely is eligible according to the facts. But when we use the public service tool, it said, not found or ineligible. So when you know that that's not so, you're going to have to do, and we had to do extra work at actually applying for that entity to get certified and determined eligible, so that we could get credit for the time that this mother worked for that public service employer. So first, you got to be employed by the right employer. And just parenthetically, this is something that can get changed in going forward with the new administration. People are like, well, what's going to change? Maybe who a qualifying employer is, or perhaps, let's just say you work, this is where it potentially can change. This is what my research shows. Let's say you work for a qualifying employer, but what you do for that employer is really like not related to the public service portion. Like you do something else for the company that is wholly unrelated to their public service. Okay. You may no longer be qualified. So the rules it seems like they're going to be small, making the qualifying number of employers or those who are qualified shrink.
Or what beyond the whole Department of Education?
No, that's actually not going to happen.
Okay. You heard it here.
Fearmonger.
All right.
All right.
Let's just focus on the case study.
So the case study.
Without your speculation.
Okay. Well, very quickly, just running through. So you have to be working for the public service employer. You have to be working full time. So if you, in the course of your employment, did some per diem, some short time, whatever, that is not going to count. You need to have loans that qualify. Parent loans do not qualify for public service loan forgiveness. Well then what's the point? Okay, so we need to try to keep it interesting, kids. We need to change the characteristic of that loan. This is part of what I had to do to get this going, get it through. Since we know the Parent Plus loan does not qualify, we had to change that loan by consolidation and selecting into a new loan of a direct consolidation, where you've removed the parent plus tag from it. And now
So
you're left with a qualifying loan for public service loan forgiveness.
so in other words, the loan did not qualify for this program,
Right.
but Pearl was able to do the paperwork
Right.
to transform it into it's like alchemy, right? In order to change the loan from unqualifying to qualifying, and that's a
Right.
process called
Consolidation.
double or single.
It's got to be a double consolidation.
So
I didn't want to go down that.
So that's just a step, and we can't we can't spend all this time on that. But that is how you change a parent loan that doesn't qualify into a education loan that does qualify.
Exactly.
Okay, so then
that has to also happen.
Okay.
You need to make sure your repayments are in an income-driven repayment plan. So you see where that was a real rub when they got rid of the income payment plans, but now they're back. So that's good for those seeking public service loan forgiveness. And you need to make 120 on-time payments of your loan according to your income-based repayment plan. It need not be consecutive, but all those payments had to have been made while you are employed by that public service employer, the repayments. And then when you are seeking, after you've paid 120 on-time qualifying payments while your loan was converted into the right loan, you have the right employer, and now and now you're still employed as a public servant. It is at that time all these requirements have to be met, and then you can apply for loan forgiveness. Part of also getting that loan forgiveness is getting all of your public employers along the way. Could have been one, could be multiple. That doesn't matter as long as it's a qualifying employer and you're eligible, and that's fine. At that point, we had to get every employer to certify and say, yes, we're this government agency, and yes, this employer did work all these particular hours. You got to get all the hours right, the weeks right. I mean, it's a yeoman's effort, but so we applied for the public service loan forgiveness, and there was some question. I'll tell you, I had my own skepticism about this particular one working, because there were the COVID years, and then there were some other years of forbearance in between that I didn't believe that she would necessarily get credit months for that time period. But lo and behold, the best case scenario, I mean, I just kept going, I don't know what's going to count. Maybe you'll get 3 years worth of the 10 years that you need. Lo and behold, last week, we logged in, and I could probably pull up those pictures. It says you have completed 120 of the 120 payments. So that all checked, and your loan balance is zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
Big get out of jail free card. Yeah.
Tremendous albatross lifted from this mother's neck. And she said, I feel like I'm in my own Hallmark movie.
That's funny.
She was
very funny.
She said it's like a dream come true. Nothing. It was like a dream, literally. And there's no way. I had to keep rubbing my eyes, double checking it. And frankly, she got some email, and I was like, oh God, it's probably fake. I went on to the federal site, and lo and behold, and I have the screenshots.
Very cool.
But it's extremely cool. So yes, it works.